Welcome back to Dreams of the Nameless, where the police are the most dangerous criminals in this dystopian moment.
Two videos show Phoenix police officers traumatizing a family of 4, all because their daughters shoplifted a doll worth $1. You've probably seen the videos. They're making the rounds on social media, news outlets, all the big places. According to the police report, one officer was already at the discount store investigating another unrelated shoplifting incident, and the employees said they had just witnessed a shoplifting incident occurring. So, of course, this cop goes to investigate, yada yada, more events occur, which end up in a parking lot of an apartment building where these cops had followed them there without running their lights, without actually pulling the people over. They just followed them until they parked.
Okay, I didn't know that had happened.
Well, that's the claim. The cops, of course, the most sources I saw, there's no comment on whether or not they were actually doing that. And the cops, I'm sure, if pushed, would say, like, either they don't have to or some other BS where they're going to cover their asses, I'm sure. Mm-hmm. Then in the videos, where the videos start, there's 2 of them. The first one, basically, it's kind of an oblique view. You don't necessarily see a lot in the way that you would want to, per se. But there are a few things that are completely clear. The officers can be heard shouting things like, "Get your fucking hands up," and "I'm going to put a fucking cap in your ass." Direct quotes there, by the way.
Did he say ass or head?
I thought it was head, but all the news sources were reporting ass.
Well, you'll forgive me for being confused. These cops are so routinely committing these acts of brutality and insanity that sometimes you just can't remember if they were, trying to shoot babies or children or adults or shoot them in the head or who knows.
The other one that I really liked is he just is screaming, "You're going to fucking get shot." No preamble, no anything else, just, "You're going to get shot." You're going to fucking get shot, more specifically, and so on. And there's more cursing and other stuff that goes on. Another of the videos shows a better angle where the father, Mr. Ames, I think his name is Drayvon Ames, he's face down on the cement in handcuffs, and they're picking him up and leading him over to this SUV. Then the cop slams him against the SUV and then violently kicks the dude's leg out because he wants him to spread his legs, but he doesn't just, "Oh, I'm going to move your legs out, spread your legs." He violently kicks the dude's legs out from underneath him. He almost collapses.
Yeah, it's standard mega power trip. He gave him no time to comply and then immediately assaulted him.
And then
because that's what that is. That's fucking assault.
Oh, yeah,
right?
Hands down. Just
that alone, just the kicking of the leg, that guy should be fired and never allowed to be a police officer again.
And then he leans in and screams at the top of his lungs in the guy's face. Where did I write it? "When I tell you to put your fucking hands up..." No, that's the next quote. That's the best one. "I said, spread your feet. When I tell you to do something, you fucking do it." And he says this a couple times and screams at the guy. Meanwhile, on the other side, the wife is now out of the car, or I'm sorry, the news says it's her, the guy's fiance. She's out of the car. She's holding one of the children. She has another child by the hand, and she's also pregnant, visibly pregnant. And there's a cop who's calmly talking to her, and I can kind of pick up on one of the 2 videos where he's saying things like, basically "Hey, are you okay? Can you set the kids down? Maybe give one of your neighbors the kids for a moment." And then this other cop just marches in out of nowhere, stabs his finger in her face, and screams that misquote I had a bit ago. He just screams in her face, "When I tell you to put your fucking hands up." And so she, of course, yells back, "I can't because I have a kid." And they start to quabble or whatever. The guy reaches in and tries to rip the kid out of her arms. And obviously she resists that a little bit. And even the other cop, you can just kind of see on his face, he's just stunned, what the hell is going on here? And then they talk for a bit, and the video kind of, trails off from there. Their lawyer, they're suing for $10 million. Their lawyer is saying among some constitutional violations, there's also assault. There's also, they hurt the child when he tried to pull the child out of the hand. The guy can't walk now. He can't carry weight. He used to work at a warehouse. Now he can't. Just et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The police are saying, well, we knew about the stolen doll, but that's not all. But we're not going to tell you everything. And then it ends up that he did have something for a DUI or something where they gave him a ticket and let him go a little while later. But like all of this super minuscule things that could have easily been taken care of in so many other ways that would have never led up to this event. And instead, they go super crazy. They point their guns at a car full of kids, screaming, "Fuck you," or "I'm going to fucking shoot you. I'm going to put a fucking cap in your head or your ass," whichever one it ends up being. Super unprofessional, super aggressive, super violent, like totally obvious that these guys have completely lost any control. Like, professionals don't scream, "I'm going to fucking kill you." They say, "I need you to get out of the car," or force.
Why were guns even involved in this to begin with? There was no violent crime that took place. The thing that was shoplifted was, I don't know what the cost of a Barbie doll is.
$1.
Oh, it's a $1.
It was stolen from a Dollar Tree or a Family Dollar or some similar type store. It was a $1 doll.
So I mean, it's not even a Walmart priced toy. This is negligible to the point of it probably cost the store more money for their employees to even give a shit about it. Than it did.
And by the end of it, in one of the videos, the guy starts counting. There's at least 12 cops by the end of it all. And then finally, like some lieutenant or some whoever they respond to that also works in the field, their boss, shows up and tries to de-escalate things. But these two cops in particular, the one that screams at the lady and the one that screams at the guy, those two, like, and kicks him, and they physically assault the two. Like, blatant, just full out, full stop, like, those guys are evil, they're bad, they should not have guns. They escalated the situation. They made the aggression. They made the violence. The entire video, these people are literally saying things like, "I am complying, sir. I am. Please, like, help me. I can't get out of my car. I'm sorry. Please help." And they're screaming, "I'm going to fucking shoot you." Really? Like, definitively, like, if there's body cameras, which they should have had, by the way, and this is the other funny thing, one of the articles they talk about, these police specifically should have already had body cameras, and they hadn't been issued yet, even though the state had already said, "Nope, we issued them, they're good." They hadn't gotten theirs issued yet. And so, like, if we're going to have this sort of oversight, like, you can't have these guys with guns, white guys with guns, pulling over families of black people, screaming at them, saying, "I'm going to shoot you." Just immediately like, "Oh, I'm sorry, you fucked up, you're fired. Get the hell out."
Yep, your career's over.
Yeah.
At the very least. I think we all know that I would go much, much further.
And for me, and that was the other part I wanted to get to here, and this is where I think I kind of want your commentary too. Really, the most terrifying part is, I'm watching this, and you're trying to put yourself in the position of the observer. And when the cop tries to pull the kid out of the woman's hand, people go, "Hey, what are you doing, man? Calm down, calm down." Like, they're yelling at the cop to, like, calm down and stop, because he's clearly out of his mind and just enraged for some reason. And it's like, but they can't do anything. If I were a bystander, like, my instinct would be to step in and be like, "Dude, get your hands off of her," and then I get shot. And then the cops just go, "Oh, well, he was interfering with an investigation, so like, it was a good shoot. Get back to work." Guy's going to be back. These two guys, guaranteed, the state isn't going to do anything. They're not going to face any kind of consequences. And within 2 weeks, they're going to be out there menacing the public once again.
Or at the very least, even if they decide that everything that they did was wrong, the most that's going to happen is they'll either get transferred or fired or whatever, and then probably they'll just still get a good recommendation from their boss and get a job somewhere else in security work or whatever, where they're, they won't be restricted from having weapons. They're not going to go to prison. Nothing like that is going to happen, or at least that has been the trend. Even in cases, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but they can just basically shoot and kill people, and even when it's obviously cold-blooded murder, the most that happens is they get fired.
Yeah, and essentially the state is really, really reluctant to prosecute cops who murder people, specifically because they want the cops to have the ability to shoot if they need to, and they'll say, "Oh, well, we don't want to give them any reason to hesitate if they have to, and so if we set the precedent of prosecuting them, then cops might hesitate, and we don't want that." Well, I do. Like,
yeah, I want them to hesitate.
Like, I'd rather read the news story of like, oh, unfortunately some cops got shot, but we apprehended the suspect alive, than everyone lived except for the suspect and his family because the cops unloaded their magazines in 3.5 seconds, firing 60 rounds into the car. Was another story I read recently about a young rapper somewhere. Fell asleep in his car with a pistol in his lap. They shot him 60 times in 3.5 seconds.
I assume he's dead.
Oh yeah, he dead. Very dead. Like it's just crazy. That's overkill, and literally the definition of it. I just blows my mind. I don't even know where to start with that one. I guess for me, the final point I want to push out for both of us is I got a notification on my phone from my cousin because he shared this video, and I went and saw it on the Facebook, and I saw some of the commentary, and I started reading into it and see more commentary of all these people who are saying things like, oh, well, you just don't know how dangerous it is in this job, or, oh, well, you know, this is a video and there could have been more context. You don't know what happened before this or after it. What context justifies slamming a suspect against your car, violently kicking his ankle, and then screaming into his ear at the top of your voice, do what I fucking told you? What context do I need to have to understand that?
And even if, let's accept for a moment the premise under which these people are working, which is that the job is so existentially dangerous to the individual officer that he must treat any situation that is remotely dangerous as if he is moments away from having to shoot people and moments away from being killed himself. Wouldn't this qualify as a situation where even 5 or 10 seconds in, even under that scenario, any police officer should have been intelligent to know that this was not one of those cases?
Yeah, you would think.
So, I mean, the answer to your question is there is no context where this is okay. This is the oppressive arm of the state, the racist arm of the terrorist state, oppressing its people, and two things are happening simultaneously. It reinforces racism, and it normalizes the violence of the state-sponsored arm against the citizens themselves. And as you said, it showcases how powerless even people who are members of the white hegemony can do nothing, aside from what appears to just be fruitlessly recorded, because it doesn't seem to matter how good the camera work is of the bystanders. The criticism is always exactly the same. Well, if you had only recorded 30 seconds earlier, it would be totally understandable that he was going to take a baby away from a woman and kill her. And so it showcases the degree to which we are living in, at the very least, a pre-fascist nation. But I would argue that we are well on the road to a mirror of the Nazi state.
And I've grown fond of saying it recently, because I think not only are we on the road to the Nazi state, to the fascist state, but as it's welcome to the dystopia, as we say.